Hey folks, it's Jim. I thought I'd open the video with my warning, zombies inside, enter at your own risk sign. I thought it was apropos to describe the state of our people in the West and how we are so asleep at the wheel here and basically have become 9 out of 10 indentured servants to a banking cartel, which is behind our zombie sign, right, the cartel. And I want to open with, this is not economic advice. This is simply a statement of my awareness of the world and what I see. Okay, this is not economic advice. It's your life, Charlie Brown. You do what you think you have to do. Seek out your own financial advice and make the moves that you find appropriate from said advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am simply a guy who has views the world from his own perspective and tries to delete the noise, the background noise of the manipulation that takes place in our Western cultures. Anyway, that being said, what I've seen happen here of late, over the last 3 months, I haven't done a video, but we see a definite transfer of wealth from west to east. And what I mean about that is not currency, tangible assets, gold, silver, precious metals of all kinds, jewelry, art, so on and so forth, is transferring over here, so much so that they have to build new vaults all the time in the Silk Road nations and all that stuff because they are accumulating wealth. Why? The Chinese people save 30 to 40% of their income. India, the Hindu people save 32% of their income per capita, which is a number I just found today. And over time, India's savings rates have been going higher. Quite remarkable. I did not know the Hindu Indian people saved that much money. But it's much like China. I've been warning all of you about this with this series. While they appear to be in the same financial world we are in, their behavior is anything but, isn't it? How many Americans can save 30 to 40% of their income? How many Europeans can save 30 to 40% of their income? How many Canadians can save 30 to 40% of their income? How many British? You know what I mean? The list goes on in the Western world. Whereas in the Eastern world, they seem to all do it. It's just their culture, okay? And at one time, we over here did the same. We had that ability. We were not zombies. We actually knew not to depend on a fake fiat paper world, but rather real, tangible, hard assets. Now, what's another source of evidence that the East is behaving differently, even though it looks like they're playing the game of the West? The new gold exchange is coming online in China, has different trading rules. In other words, it's not like the COMEX over here, all right? Over here, you either can fulfill the contract of precious metals that you're trading in 2 days, or the contract is void. So they are demanding that you actually have the metal. Over here, they trade paper on the COMEX. It's called the Precious Metals Exchange, but they're actually just trading paper and virtual contracts. Over here, you have to have the deliverable asset or your contract is void. So that shows a complete difference in the way they're operating and doing business over here. Okay, I want you to be aware of that. Okay, and this is all about the Silk Road. Now, India and Russia are opening their own gold exchange, all right? So because India, the Hindu people, they consume 50% of the entire world's gold supply annually, folks. It's just the way they are. Middle Eastern people, oh, gee, I mean, tons of it. Case in point, the Iraq War. When Iraq went into Kuwait, what did they do? They stole their gold. What is a little nation like Kuwait doing with all that gold? All right? See what I mean? They're selling oil, buying gold. All right? You need to be aware of this, people. All right? So the Middle Eastern nations all, because of religion and so forth, have to have so much gold to back their currencies. They can't just have currency. Remember Gaddafi, in his book, quoted our forefathers about real currency and not having central banks. All right? And Gaddafi was a gold-backed currency, just like our forefathers had put into the United States, and he quoted the Constitution of the United States, I might add. So while Gaddafi appeared, or propaganda-wise, to be a bad guy, he actually had a solvent business model for his own nation with regards to money, sound money. Okay, so we see a different behavior going on over here. While they're talking the game with the rest of the world, they are all behaving different on the Silk Road, to exclude Brazil. Brazil is not part of that, okay? But Brazil is part of the BRICS, so I put them in here. But everybody else has heavy gold, silver, diamonds, precious metals, art, and everything else, okay? And you all know this and can look it up for yourself. And their savings rate per capita absolutely decimate anything in the West, okay? While our savings rates have declined over the last 20 years, theirs have all gone way up. And what are they saving in? Not dollars, okay? They're saving in tangible assets or property, all right? So out of all this 30 to 40%, they're investing some, they're buying property with some, and they're buying precious metals and jewelry and other things with others. And we know that India does, because they have to, by their philosophy, whatever you want to call it, they have to buy so much gold every year, or silver, or whatever. Okay, look all this up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. So we see that the two worlds are behaving entirely differently, okay? Something else I want you to know, all right? In preparation for what might be going down, the world, because the petrodollar, Saudi's trading outside the dollar, Iran's trading outside the dollar, Middle East is trading outside the dollar, all of these are trading outside the dollar. The world is beginning to trade outside the dollar, including the Philippines, okay? So with that in mind, the World Banking Cartel is coming up with a new basket of currencies to replace the dollar as the reserve currency in preparation for the dumping of the dollar. So you U.S. people need to be aware of that. Our day of Fat Cat City is ending rapidly, quite rapidly, faster than I expected. Okay? Something else you need to be aware of, America. The new bankruptcy laws. Look at what the Supreme Court ruling was of late. They can now, corporations can go back 10 years on you after bankruptcy and recoup the money that they lent you. So no longer can you file bankruptcy and get out from under the debt. If the debt will remain, and they can go back and get it. Know that. You can't do that to a corporation, but now they can do it to you. It shows you who's running the U.S. Absolutely definitively, that ruling shows what's going down. Now we can't get out from under bankruptcy, all right? You can file it, but it's not going to do you any good, since if you win again and you start getting ahead, they can come back now on you and get you for that money that you owed, okay? So just pay attention to that. Look it up for yourself, read about it, and study it, know what's coming. So you can see all this preparation by the world banking system and the United States for something coming, isn't it? Because this is a debt-based model. These people are solvent, all right? Maybe not their countries look solvent on the surface, but the people are very solvent. The people over here are in debt up to their asses. These people are solvent. Their savings is going to skyrocket if they're a fiat currency world problem. This savings is going to go down because it's all paper, not precious metals. These people's savings is going to go up 10 times. Okay, so you see where the problem is and how there can be an overnight massive transfer of wealth, real wealth, and give these people far more purchasing power over here than over here. All right? And we also know PPP, China's PPP purchasing power has surpassed that of the United States now. Not GDP, I'm talking PPP, the real numbers. Purchasing power, debt to income ratio, the ability of excess income to consume. That's PPP. Okay, just know to understand that. It also works on a national level. It's too deep to get into. I'm not going to explain it all. But anyway, I want you to be aware of that. Next thing is Greece. What happened in Greece? Now they can fleece their safety deposit boxes to cover that debt. So this cartel is completely fleecing the people of Greece over debt. All right? So I want you to know that I believe Greece is the model for what's going to be done over here when it goes down. Okay, we're not going to be able to get out of the debt. You're going to owe it. You're going to have to pay it. You are, in essence, an indentured servant. Whether you know and understand that yet or not, the laws are being put in place and the preparation is being made to make you an indentured servant. And you will have to work off your debt because they will be able to come back and get it. You will be able to own nothing until they get their money back. Okay? And that, I believe, is what the outcome is going to be. Look this case up for yourself. In other words, everybody thinks that these people are in the same boat as the rest of the world. No, they are not. They are behaving entirely different. Evidence case in point. The gold exchange is going to trade anything but like the COMEX in the U.S. This will actually be real. And you have to fulfill the contract within 2 days. Over here, you can trade paper indefinitely on our COMEX. It is completely as fiat as the currencies it's traded in. Absolutely ridiculous. This is going to be real. So while people think we're all in the same boat, we're not. These people are behaving differently on the Silk Road, and they're preparing to trade in real assets, folks. You've got to see this. Please, you've got to see it, all right? I think we're up to 10 minutes. Okay, this video's gone a little bit long. I hope the point's gotten across. I tried to keep it short. Anyway, experience, strength, and hope. I hope you're doing all well, and I hope this wasn't overwhelming for you, but please look this up. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is happening, folks. Again, I'm not an economic advisor, and this is not economic advice. Oh, I forgot to mention the gold depositories in Texas, Utah, and now Arizona's talking about getting its own going, and the vote is in the Arizona Senate now, I believe. Look all this stuff up for yourself. So even state by state, they're beginning to wake up and realize, uh-oh, we have a big problem, Houston. And we can see by the reaction of the banking cartel coming up with the new basket that they're going to implement soon, because the petrodollar is falling fast. Just know that. And that comes under my red flags, which we'll talk about all this later. But the gold depositories is big, okay? Just be aware of that. Look at the East, look at the West, and tell me if you don't see that we are behaving entirely different. The East and the Silk Road nations are behaving differently from the West. And I believe the West, the banking cartels, are beginning to panic because they see the writing on the wall, okay? While it looked like they were playing the same game all along, their behavior is anything but the same, okay? So, and I got nothing against them. They're living smartly. They're living life right. They're saving. They're being prepared. I can't knock them for that. What I can say is we're behaving like zombies, totally unaware, and most people are in debt up to their butts. And that's going to be an indentured servant lifestyle when it all goes down. Jim out.